G'day everybody, Daz here from my Aussie Gardening Kitchen. Now what I've got here is I've got a Satsuma Plum, an A OK Plum and a Granny Smith. And in this video today I'm going to be planting in the Satsuma and the A OK Plums into these two grow bags. The Granny Smith, that will be in another video at another time. These three trees are bare-rooted trees. So I bought these online, and what the nursery did was they packed the roots in a peat moss and kept that moist. It's really important that with bare-rooted trees, if you get them in the mail, that the roots stay moist. So the nursery do the right thing and they pack them with a bit of peat moss, keep them moist. Then when you get them home, if you're not going to plant them straight away, you need to keep those roots moist, stick them into a bucket of water or something like that. And in my case, I was waiting for some bigger containers to come and they didn't turn up. But while I was waiting, I took them out of that peat moss mix and I put them into a container with some soil, and I kept the soil moist and I gave it a little bit of fertilizer. And as you can see, the trees have fared well. They've probably been sitting like this for a good month or so now. And I'm about a week away from spring, so that's why you can see the leaves on them. But when you buy bare-rooted trees, they're pretty much like this one here. They'll come to you without leaves, they'll be pruned and ready to go into the ground. So yes, it's very important to make sure you keep your roots moist and get them into the ground, either a temporary setup like this or a permanent setup as soon as you can. All right, so what I'll do for the moment is I'll take the Granny Smith and I'm just going to take it out, give it a shake. And that's going to be quite fine just for the time being. Now, you really would not want to be taking it out and leaving it in the sun for a long period of time. You're going to hurt the tree. But while I'm doing this and the roots are sitting in the shade behind that pot, I should be quite fine. So this is my OK Plum. Beautiful tree there. And this is my Satsuma Plum. There we go. Look at that. Very happy with these. So the plan here is to put these two side by side in these grow bags. Now I wanted large grow bags because I want the roots to have a chance to move and grow and keep the trees healthy for the next, say, 3 to 4 years. Then after that time, I'll probably look at planting them over into the orchard or somewhere else into the yard. But these guys here, these grow bags, they're going to do quite fine with these trees for the next couple of years. But I'll monitor the situation and act on it in time anyway. Now these grow bags, I've already put the soil in to save a bit of time here. And it's a combination of the sandy loamy soil from my yard and my homemade compost. And I've mixed that up really well and got it in these grow bags. And they've been sitting here for about a month now when I was waiting for bigger containers. And it's quite a simple process. So all I'm going to do is make a well in the middle of this grow bag. Now here, I've got a blood and bone fertilizer, and I'm just going to sprinkle that into the hole, not too much. Just a bit there for the roots. I'll take my A OK Plum, and I'm just going to sit that on top of the soil here, just moving the roots around to make sure the roots are going to be okay. Now, I don't want to plant it too deep down because I want the roots to actually be able to have some room underneath to move, and also for any excess moisture to go to the bottom of the bag. Now, what's really important is with the roots, you really need to make sure that the roots are covered in soil completely, no air pockets at all. I'll just move that because the chickens are eating it. So I'm just going to backfill underneath the roots, like so, and then fill in around the roots, pushing firmly to make sure there's no air pockets. Now, what I should have done was actually look at the branches and make sure the branches are in the directions that I want according to the sun. The sun is going to move from left to right of my screen during the day. And I'm quite happy with that because in this case, what I'm trying to do is have two trees side by side And if I can, I want a little bit of a gap here to walk through. So I'm just looking at these branches, and the majority of the branches are going out that way. And I've got the central leader and one coming here. And what I might do at some point is actually bend this one out a bit so it grows out this way to keep that middle of the tree opened like a vase shape. Just going to get some more soil and cover the base of the tree where the roots are. Now this is a grafted tree, so it's really important that where it's grafted, you don't have that anywhere near the soil level. That's got to stay up above the soil. If you're not sure what a grafted tree is, it's basically where they'll take a tree and they'll make a cutting on the tree of a tree that's going to fruit, and then they'll splice that onto another trunk of another tree, splice them together, and then they'll merge together. They'll actually grow into each other to become one tree. And the purpose of the top section is that's the fruiting part that's going to give you your fruit. And the bottom tree, the bottom trunk, that's a strong, healthy rootstock, which is going to be in the ground, and it's going to be good for the overall tree, suck up nutrients, be strong in the ground, and it's a really good base for it. And that's how you have a grafted tree. And with the grafted trees, you always have that graft way above the soil. So I'm just sprinkling a bit more of the blood and bone on the top of the soil here. And then I'll water that in and give this a mulching, and then that's it. It's as easy as that. So again, I've made a well, blood and bone fertilizer in the base, popping these roots into the hole, spreading them out a little bit, just fanning them out, just lining up the branches again, looking at where I want them, backfilling under those roots again to make sure there's no air pockets under those roots or around the roots. Just pushing that soil down around the roots to make sure there's no air pockets. Now to backfill with more soil. Now with these two trees, I will stake them. I'll just pop a stake in here. If I've got spare stakes, I'll actually put 2 stakes in and just stake them and tie them just to stop the wind from moving them, just to give those roots a bit of support and stop them from moving around in the dirt as the tree's trying to establish itself and grow in this soil. Just a bit more of this blood and bone fertilizer on top. And there we go. That's the planting stage done on both of these trees. Now it's really important that these are mulched. Now mulch is going to suppress weeds, it's going to break down and become organic matter eventually, and of course it's going to keep the moisture in. Now because we've got grow bags here, these are exposed to the sun, and the sun's going to heat the bags up and they're going to dry out a lot quicker. So it's important that we keep these moist and we do what we can to try and keep the soil moist. So mulching is a great way of doing that. And as I said, it's got multiple purposes, so you can't go wrong. Also with mulching, during the wet months in winter, for instance, you want to keep the mulch away from the trunk of the tree, just so you don't cause any sort of rotting or anything like that around the trunk of the tree. So now we'll just give them the watering in. Okay, job done. Well, almost. Now what I've got to do is, because I've got these little ones running around, these chickens that you may have seen in the video, I need to get chicken wire on top of these. And in fact, I've actually done that in my orchard. So at the base of all my trees, my orchard, I've got chicken wire so these little critters can't get in and scratch up all the roots and disturb the roots. And it works really well. I'm popping a video onto the screen right now, which I think you're going to like as well. I'd appreciate it if you do check it out. YouTube likes to see that sort of thing. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up and sharing me out and subscribing and all that sort of stuff, I do appreciate it. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.